everybody. There's a question in the review about drawing ammonia molecules and labeling it. And I just want to make sure I go over how to draw these things with you and what to watch out for based on things that I've seen in the class kick and so far on pages 8 and 9 in the packet. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. I'm just going to pull up my whiteboard here. So if you were to draw one ammonia molecule, which would look like this, here, first off, this bond is polar covalent, so that means we have to have our dipoles. Okay, the one that's more electronegative, closer to fluorine, gets the negative dipole. The one that's furthest from fluorine gets the positive dipole. Now, when you draw a solid line like that, that means that we are talking about a bond. So what kind of bond is this one here between a nitrogen and a hydrogen? That's a polar covalent bond. Okay. And another word we use to talk about polar covalent bonds or bonds in general are intramolecular forces. Okay, so this is an intramolecular force. Now, the question on the review said that you had to actually draw and label a couple of more things. So if you ever have to draw an intermolecular force, that means you need to draw two molecules, at least two molecules, to show that attraction between the two, in this case, ammonia molecules. Okay, so here's our other ammonia. Now when you're drawing the connection between the two, let me put my dipoles on here before I forget. When you're drawing the connection between the two, you need to use a dashed line, not a solid line, a dashed line. So solid lines are representing intramoleculars, dashed lines represent intermoleculars. So this here is an intermolecular force because it's between those two ammonia molecules. Okay? Now this particular intermolecular force is a hydrogen bond because it's between the nitrogen of one molecule and the hydrogen of another. Now notice when I drew this intermolecular force, I connected it to the positive end of one and the negative end of another. Make sure that you're not drawing it to like a slightly positive to a slightly positive because that's not going to attract. You want to make sure that you label this correctly. Something that I've seen some of you guys do that I do not want you to do is you'll like kind of highlight this whole thing and you want to label that whole thing a covalent bond. No, that is not good. This is not a bond. What you just highlighted there is a molecule. You're highlighting a polar covalent molecule, but you're not pointing to a polar covalent bond. You want to make sure that if you're going to be talking about a bond, you're actually pointing to that solid line that's between two atoms itself. Okay, so I hope this clears up any questions that you guys have about how to draw these molecules. And if you have any questions about this, make sure to put them in the discussion so that we can address those as a group. Okay, thanks.